If I told you that there is a single fish in this game that is more valuable than a chest of legends, chances are you'd call me crazy, right? I mean, come on, it's a fish. But believe it or not, it's real. In fact, my friends and I have made hundreds of thousands of gold doing nothing but selling fish and meat. How have we done it? Well, it was a few days of work, the first of which was the last community day. What better way to make use of a day-long reputation and gold multiplier than continuing to progress towards the hardest grind in the game? I cannot wait to be done with the hunter's call, but alas, it is too early to start complaining. Since I was sailing on a captained vessel, I began my journey by sailing between a couple outposts to buy some bait as I was waiting for my friend to log in. Though much to my surprise, one such outpost was already occupied.
Hello? Anyone here?
Hi. Yo, your ship is sinking, dude. A classic case of mom calling for dinner. This poor guy probably made a last-ditch effort to sell some treasure before getting forcefully evicted, with plenty of it still sitting on his ship. Since I was waiting for Birdie to log in anyway, I didn't mind watching after his treasure, but unfortunately, he never came back. I would sell his loot just to make sure it doesn't go to waste after he disconnected, but I wanted to make a living as a fisherman, meaning no such thing is gonna happen. So I just decided to hold on to it until I could give it to somebody else. But until then, Birdie and I would go about collecting some fish. And we begin our adventure of fishing at a sea fortress. Not only does the kitchen allow you to cook up to 4 pieces of fish at a time, increasing its value before selling, but some of the barrels can also contain fish to add to your pile. Though I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that's what we did last time and it got kind of boring pretty fast. After a good hour, we decided to change locations for the sake of variety, though a big money-making opportunity began coming our way. I don't want to alarm you, but the storm is coming towards us. And it's weird to say that, but I kind of hope for it to come our way.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand what you're saying. I'm picking up.
Some of you might remember, the most valuable fish in the game can only be caught within a storm. Chasing that thing down to go fishing is honestly a massive pain in the butt, though you're not gonna hear me complain about the storm coming to us while we were fishing anyway. Trophy shore stormfish! Oh my god! Okay, don't get hit by lightning. Don't get hit by lightning. Getting all the benefits of the storm without most of the risk? Sign me the heck up! Of course, as lucky as that was, it was not enough to get the rarest one right off the bat. That will be the Trophy Shadow Stonefish, which can sell for an eye-watering 16,875 gold pieces. I was extremely happy about this one anyway, because even if it isn't the rarest one, stonefish in general rate among the most expensive fish in the game. And at that point, we had tasted blood. We were trying to come up with more ideas on how we can cheese the storm mechanic in order to get super valuable fish. The Coral Fortress in the north is home to a perpetual storm, though unfortunately we couldn't find any stormfish in these waters. There was no way around it. If it was valuable fish we were after, we had to chase down the storm. Even with the community day bonus, there wasn't a lot of money in just going for regular types of fish, and my reputation was still far from 50 at the end of the day. Trust me when I say that, with my entire crew assembled, many more fishing sessions followed that community day. Hours upon hours spent in the catacombs of sea fortresses fishing away at pondies. It wasn't much, but it was honest work, something that most assuredly put our friendship to the test. Well, you called a Kraken content. I think your opinion is null and void.
Damn, he's got a point.
I mean, you call sitting here fishing for pondies content, so...
Because it is!
No, it's not!
It is! Your brain can't comprehend how much content we're getting right now.
We're taking 6 days of fishing, you're gonna use it in a 5-minute clip about you getting level 50 as Hunter's Call.
It is bold of you to assume this is gonna add up to 5 minutes, but yes. Yeah, he wasn't wrong about that one. Something had to change, and that fast. Sure, pondies are easy enough to fish in great quantities because there's so little space down in the sea fortresses that it doesn't usually take more than a single reel to even get the trophy variety of them caught. Selling our piles upon piles of fish during gold rush hour, we made a very respectable 100,000 gold pieces per day with only our sanity as payment. But it was decided, no more catching small fry. The next time we set foot under the Sea of Thieves, we would become storm chasers. The chase was on, with Birdie, Brandon, and I reunited on a new day sailing atop the mighty Rocinante. We were ready to fish our way into a fortune. Preparation was everything on this mission because sailing into a storm is no joke. Plenty of food to survive the inevitable lightning strikes, absolute boatloads of planks to repair the damage the storm is going to deal, and of course, you can't forget about the leeches. And with all of our preparations complete, it was time to head for the eye of the storm. In our current lineup, Brandon and I would be fishing for stormfish roughly 15 feet apart to make sure that if if one of us gets struck by lightning, the other doesn't. Birdie's job was to keep the ship deep inside the storm and repair our vessel once it takes damage. You know that you can find stormfishes once you are close enough to the storm that you can hear your ship's bell ring on its own. And yeah, it didn't take long for us to catch our first trophy stormfish. Oh my god, it's so big!
Well, let me see what it looks like.
Look at this! It's so big!
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh my god!
Holy crap!
It barely even fits! Here's normal fish for comparison, look at this.
Oh my god.
Okay, yes, this whole trip was bound to be full of innuendos. We marveled at the sheer size of these bad boys, clearly befitting of the price tag they fetch with the hunter's call. Now, you might assume that the only dangerous thing to our cause would be the storm itself, because let's be real, who's crazy enough to chase a brigantine into a storm? And you would be right, but when I got struck by lightning through the floor, I took that as an omen for more trying times to come. Though until that happened... Yo, trophy shadow stormfish!
What?
Don't cross the streams. Don't stand next to me. If lightning strikes, both of us are gonna get hit.
Oh, I'm at the very front.
I am trying so hard
on.
to make sure the ship doesn't turn into a way that loses that fish. This is like the rarest fish in the game, right?
I think so. The most valuable anyway. Truly a blessed expedition. We had just acquired the crown jewel of our collection. All we had to do now was make sure we didn't sink until gold rush hour. And that was just as well, because a single fish was not gonna be enough to get me to rank 50. But unfortunately, this is where things began to take a turn for the worse.
Oh, God. Border check.
Did you just get lightning struck border check, dude? Come bite, come on. No, don't leave! No, please come back! Trophy ancient stormfish! Don't run to the island, please. Poon play, 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 no! Brandon, where was the poon play?
It was too, I don't think it would have worked.
I'm sorry, what if I try?
L.
Trophy starfish!
No shot, that was a trophy!
Rip Bozo.
Rip Bozo.
Phil, I want to, because it's a...
Who of us got hit?
I've gotten one to bite, but it wasn't a stormfish.
Oh, Dude, I lost the stormfish and then I got a stupid splash tail that immediately bit. I didn't even have a chance to reel in. Shadow stormfish! No, not it disappeared! Why? We're not even that fast. As you could have probably imagined, stormfishing is not all sunshine and rainbows. A multitude of things can and have been going wrong for us, diminishing the amount of fish we could catch. At this point, I don't know what's worse, the boredom of fishing for pondies or the frustration of fishing in a storm. Alas, we decided to call it a day after only a couple hours in the storm, feeling completely and utterly drained. But thankfully, there was still something to look forward to. 25,000 gold!
Holy
For
crap,
a fish! Exciting as that was, it didn't end up being enough. Sure, we made another 100,000 gold pieces in less time than we previously spent getting pondies, however, it didn't end up being enough to push me over the edge to Hunter's Call 50. If you haven't had enough of me suffering, then what about you check out my episode on the worst voyage in Sea of Thieves? 100% unadulterated RNG, all for your entertainment. You can find the code on screen right now. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys have a day filled with riches on the sea, and until next time,